I need to, I'm going to make a rack. I need to store 2 kayaks, and I have an extension ladder that needs to be out there someplace. So anyway, and this is the plan. So 8 foot high here, 2 feet into the ground there, 6 feet above the ground, and then I want to notch these 2 things to go together and then put some sort of a support down underneath. So that's the plan. That's the overall way that this thing is supposed to go together. And what I ended up doing is I have 2 8-foot posts over here, which will be the ones that go into the ground, these. Then I took there will be 2 of these, obviously, and then I took the 2 other ones and I cut them in half, so those are 4 feet overall, and then I notched those out at 3 feet so that I have, it's 36 inches there. The kayaks are just about 36 inches, so that'll be full support for the kayak. And then I have like 8 inches over here. Should have probably gotten 6-footers, and I would have had a little extra on the other side, but it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to cut one of these and show you what I'm doing. But what I've done is I set my saw. Well, I'll just go through it. So let me just set this aside here someplace. And I set this piece in here to space this away, because this is a sliding saw. So for the blade to be half the thickness here, I can set a depth stop, but because of the circle on the blade, you need to have it in a fully down position over here and the fully down position over there, so that it passes through. So anyway, that's why I spaced it out the way that I did, but I'll show you what I'm doing there. So essentially I'm coming over here 36 inches. And I'm setting that this way, so I'm square here. And then half the thickness, or the width of this is, these are 3.5 inches, but it's got to be tight, so you want to make them tight. So here I got 10, so 3.5 inches is here, but I want to make sure that the space is going to be tight, and I can always open it up. But if I don't do the right thickness, then I can't fill the material back in so easily. So there's 3.5 there. So I'm going to make sure my saw kerfs, the thickness of the cut, is to the inside of both of those lines. Okay, so you can see that the kerf will be to the inside of that line. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Again, making sure that I'm against the fence over there. Okay, I'm a little bit fat there, but again, I can bump that and hit it again. Okay, so I'm still on the inside of the line. Then I need to remove this whole section. I'm going to a depth which is half the thickness of this. So these are 3.5. That means that this depth is about 1 3/4 deep. So what I'm going to do is make a set of cuts here. Slide it down just a little bit. Okay, so I have these cuts here, and you can actually break a lot of these out just by doing that. And if you can't, then I also have a chisel. It's critical that you keep all the crap out from in back of your stuff so things sit the way it's supposed to when you're cutting. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run back through here again to make sure that I'm deep enough, and then I'll clean it up with the chisel. Again, you can see I'm a little bit tight, which is 3.5 inches, which is great. Now, I can always open it up a little bit if I have to. You want to just make sure that the bottom is as flat as it can be, because this is going to establish your squeeze on the post. Okay. And that's it. Okay, so this makes the forearms. And then I'll cut 2 pockets on each of those beams. I don't know what I did with my drawing. Oh, here it is. Nope. There it is. Up like 2 feet off of what would be the, well, 4 feet off of the bottom. So 2 feet off of the ground so that you can get a lawnmower underneath it. And I got 2 feet 7.5. It's just an arbitrary distance, but it could be anything, you know, here. And then I'll cut the pockets in there, and then you put the 2 halves together so that you'll be like this, and it'll be one thickness. And then I have a 2x4 by 6 feet long in the back. I'll bring up here, and I'll cut as a gusset underneath here just to support the arm from the front. Then I'm going to use that spray seal, you know, like the stuff that they use to make screen doors into boats, you know, that black spray stuff. I'll spray down below the ground so that the moisture can't get into the thing. It'll give me a few more years of use probably. And also wherever I've cut the, you know, the top of the thing, and wherever I've cut these pockets, because water is the enemy. You know, water gets into stuff. Even though these are pressure treated, the new pressure treating sucks compared to old pressure treating. And if the water gets in there, you know, sooner or later it's toast. So anyway, that's the plan, and I'll come back, we'll assemble them. Okay. I've got the one post done, and I'm doing the other post now. I'm just transferring the locations to the other post. As you can see, essentially, here's one of the parts that has the notch in it, and you can start to see how that will, you force it down in there with, but I don't want to do it yet because I'd like to seal that inside. So, but that's, you'll have one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. Put some gussets in there, and Bob's your uncle. So, all right, let's see how we're doing here. This, incidentally, all the stuff could be done with a handsaw, except it would take you a long time. I mean, this saw is a godsend, honestly. Time saver for sure. And this is a pretty versatile saw. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. This out just a little bit so you get a better view, but you can actually force these things right the heck out of here, just like that. You end up having to go back and clean up some of the stuff in the bottom anyway, regardless of how this is and how brittle these are, piece to piece, wood to wood. Alright, so all the cutting is done, and I don't have any of that sealant, so this is spar varnish. I thought I would just give the shit a chance, so I'm just painting the wound, so to speak. Just keep the water out, that's all. And I don't know, we're going to try putting one of these together and seeing how it works. Maybe I'll varnish the whole outside. This is just leftover shit that I have, but Whoops. Specifically, the most important part is here, where the on the end grain, which was the natural capillary action of the tree when it was alive, because it means that there's a system hidden inside there, that even though the thing is dead, there's probably tubules, some sort of little tubes. Okay, so there's some varnish. I mean, you know, it's not going to be perfect, but all right, let's see if this joint will go together. I don't know if it will or not. Gotta get a bigger hammer. Okay, so there's a joint. That's how they'll all go together. I'll put a couple of screws in here to hold the thing together, and put this gusset down underneath here like this. Although, rum dummy me, I wasn't thinking I needed 4 of those out of that 6 feet. And I wasn't thinking, so I just cut it. And I got 3 of them. Hi, doggy. All right, so that's the way that it'll go together. And I'll bring it back when I'm all done. I'm just curious how square this ended up being. Freaking perfect. And the reason for this, incidentally, is perfectly square, is if you screw 2 things together, whatever, that eventually that the weight of whatever you put out here is going to make the whole thing tilt this way. I'm going to probably sink this in concrete, and any arms that you put on here will do one of those. So this is really the only way to do it. Anyway, a little project, a few hours. Okay, so I used spar varnish. I did the insides of the hands, and then these 2 require a little extra persuasion, so I got my larger persuader and laid them out there and gave them a little more. So I cut these specifically tight because if they're loose, it's no good. But I cut them maybe just a little bit too snug. So I'm going to run some galvanized screws in through here, I guess, or stainless. If I have some stainless screws around someplace. Let me see if I can't find them. Put a couple of screws in there just to hold that stuff together. And then put my, I'm going to have to get another piece of wood, idiot that I am, because I only cut 3 of those gussets. So anyway, that's the plan. We're 90% done, 95% done. And then I'm gonna, tomorrow when I go to get the wood, I'll get the sealant spray. I can't remember what they call it, but it's the black spray that you can spray on whatever, and that will protect the wood that's going to be in the ground. And I have a couple of bags of cement there. So anyway, so that's the plan. So that's a finished product, except for that one brace. Bottom all cleaned up and everything's put away. And it's about to rain, which is great. I just finished. So tomorrow I'll get that one piece, get something to spray the bottoms with, and maybe we'll set them up. So water came down the yard this way and washed out into the river. I guess washed the soil out into the river this way. So I dug down like 3 feet, 2.5 feet, and I filled this in with cement. I couldn't find where the void was over here, but I figured this will do something. So this has to be built back up with some soil, but I wanted to do that because this is sort of my landing zone. These were some pavers my friend had in his yard, and of course that washed out over there, so I've got to fix that. But I'm going to just finish this up so I have a landing zone, and then I'm going to put I built 2 racks, and those are going to go over here. I'm going to dig down a couple of holes and so that, and then set them with concrete. I need to set them level and whatever. I'm going to have them out about 3 feet from the fence that way so that I can get behind them. 3 feet will be right out here somewhere at the edge of where this the sand is. And I'm going to have them about, I think, 6 feet apart. So one will be there and one will be here. And the kayaks are about 10 feet and a half. So I'll have 3 feet on either end, or 2.5 feet on either end. Anyway, so that's it. So I'm going to this is a post hole digger that I've had for years and years and years and years and years. I mean 30 years, and you can see that the handle's broken a few times, and I've repaired it, or cut off whatever it was. Matter of fact, when I first got these things, these things split. I actually had a friend weld them up. The ends where they were split, and weld this together here because these rivets didn't hold. But anyway, that's where we are. So first hole is going to go here. After I get the piece of wood out from underneath here. All right. Oh, shit. See what I'm talking about? Okay, so we'll fix this before we go on. And I don't know why this one is always the one that seems to want to break, huh? This is not looking real good either. All right, I'll be back in a minute. So after a 15-minute tirade of anger and whatever, you can see how much shorter this thing just keeps on getting shorter and shorter and shorter. I poked a couple of holes. I chopped out the old thing. This bolt here broke because it was rusted in place, and whatever, I found another bolt that would work, put that in there, and we're back in business. So anyway, so here we are. See. Let me see how deep we are. We're almost 2 feet. And and that's 2 feet there. I'm going to try to go another 6 inches or so, get it in the ground like 30 inches. And that will give enough room from here to there, 20 some odd inches, to get the lawnmower underneath. And so anyway, a few more inches, and then we'll set one of these posts and just see how it looks. Uh, 26 inches. Let's go. Let's set this one and just see how it looks. Oof. I sealed the ends of these also. Matter of fact, I sealed all of these ends with spray and seal, whatever the heck that stuff is. This is all pressure treated lumber, but that means nothing in today's day and age. The old pressure treatment is not like it used to be. All right. So that actually looks pretty good. So what I may end up having to do, this is I'll get the cement. We can put it in there, we can mix it, or we can put it in there dry and just wet it down. It will set on its own. But the only key to it is making sure that we're level, plumb this way and this way. Because I have a slope here, that one will have to be just a little bit deeper, so I'm going to leave this the way it is. Okay. So that's good that way. You got to be careful because these stand out just a little bit. Okay, so that's good. That's good that way. And that's good that way. I may only need one bag. I thought I'd need two for sure. All right. All right. Let me get this out of harm's way. Whoops. And this will set naturally anyway, just from the moisture in the soil. And As far as I can tell, I mean, this is, whoops, sorry, reasonably square to the fence, which is what I'm really looking for. Okay, and then what we want to do is have, I thought it was around 6 feet, just shy of 6 feet. So I found my other tape, but here I brought this one too. It fell down in the grass. Anyway, okay, so we need to be, what is this one? 42 inches. 42 inches. And we want to be about 5.5 feet. I'm gonna make it 6 feet would be right here where the ants are. So right about there. 42. That's it right there. Okay. That's where the tape is. Just in case you needed to know. Okay. Where's my little piece of shit? It blew. That's it right there. All right. Fortunately, this area that I'm digging in, I brought in, this used to slope down to the river, and the river was always coming over the bank, so I brought in 80 some odd yards of fill, would happen to be 95% sand from some excavation up in Hudson, which is some miles north of here. But this is mostly clean. There's really, it makes digging much easier. Except, I think I got a stone or something down in here. Son of a gun. One of my bees just stung me. Fuck. That hurt. Youch. Youch. That hurts. It was his own fault, man. I wasn't hurting him. There's a big old stone or something over on that side. All right, so let's see if we can't shave it just a little bit short this way, because that's going to be very difficult to get out. Best investment I ever made. If you have to dig stuff, man, tell you what. Oh, tell you what, it's 95 degrees out here. The only place where there's a piece of fucking stone, it's like a piece of cinder block or something that was in that damn thing. It's got to be right where I want to put that post, and I can move it. Oh, man. There it is. Oh, man. All right. $24. All right, that's 28. So we'll try to fit it and see how level we are. Okay. Oof. Okay. Oof. Okay. Now, that's pretty straight. Not long enough. This one longer. Pretty good. Okay. How's that look? Oh my God, that's almost perfect. I'm gonna call that perfect. It's actually within I don't know, half an inch. Well, let's make it right. I'm going to dig that down another inch or two. I think it went a little too far. I'm about an inch too deep over here, but that's okay because we'll adjust that as we go. All right. So okay. Friggin' perfect. Perfect that way. Perfect that way. Perfect that way. Perfect. 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 And square. Okay. Okay, and by tomorrow we can put these kayaks on here. That boat, that sailboat, I want to get I want to get rid of this boat here and get a little Boston whaler, which is just a little bit bigger, like 3 feet larger. And then when I buy that boat, I would get a trailer with it and put that boat, the sailboat, on a trailer so I can take it out of here. It's very difficult to sail in this river. The river is awfully shallow. So here we are, we're done. And put away the cement, put away the hose, the digging tools. You know what? I need to twist this just a little bit. 61.5. They're now square with the wall. They're level, same height. The Kayaks will go on here fine. One here, one here. I can put the ladder over there and the sail there. All right, so we're done. If you learned anything, like, subscribe, comment, questions. I love them. Anyway, that's where the tape is. That's where one of the tapes are. I'm going to put them both together so I don't lose them again. All right. Anyway, peace, love, out. See you later. Bye-bye.